Christian?
Okay, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Karina, for inviting us to this event. My name is Christian Manassa, and I'm the CEO of Mobius Logic. We are a Gold Microsoft software development partner based in Tysons, and we specialize in Azure cloud services, particularly in AI, data science, and robotics. This afternoon, I want to present to you with our drone flight management system, which is available in the Azure app. It's available as an Azure app in the Azure Marketplace, and which will soon be made available to the Azure Cloud as well. We have a demo to show you today of the FMS system, but before that, I want to kind of share with you a few slides to give you a quick overview of the drone industry in general and the challenges that drone program directors face when setting up a drone operation. Then I'll showcase the core competencies of our FMS application and then show a demo with a couple of videos and then take some questions towards the end. So the 30,000-foot view of the drone industry is this. Starting 3 to 4 years ago, the FAA started relaxing several of the regulations related to commercial and civilian government agencies flying drones to conduct their business. This resulted in several industries to jump into and mobilize this technology. The construction industry and the civilian government industries are the leaders today, and most of those entities with over $100 million in operational budgets kind of spend a lot of money on drones. The drone usage in those industries have been doubling in the last 2 to 3 years. I don't want to bore you a lot with the numbers on the slide, which you can read later on, but a couple of things to point out here, that companies that use drones, close to 30% of them have 25 or more drones in their fleet, and about 100 or more people operating these drones, just to give you a size of, an average size of a typical drone operation in these companies. So since this is a relatively new industry, the organizations that use drones have set up, or they're in the process of setting up, drone programs for or aviation service departments, if you want to call them, so that when you embark on this effort, you're going to handle drone operations, you're going to be faced with several challenges. What I list here are the top 4 challenging aspects of setting up a drone ops department. First, regulations are evolving, so you have to keep track of what is allowed and what is not. And these regulations vary also by jurisdiction. So you have federal regulations provided by the FAA, and then you have varying regulations at the state level, the county level, and sometimes at the city level. So a drone ops leader has to keep track of all those to ensure their organization is compliant. Second, as with any business process, you will need some form of collaboration to organize the varying tasks, people and technology, and the people and the technology components of this operation. So since this is new, there aren't any software packages to handle this. Think back to the days when before CRM packages existed or financial software packages existed. This is where we are today with drone ops. You have different parts of the organizations running this op on email and Excel. And believe it or not, some parts are also run on paper forms and paper certificates. So this is where we are in this industry. And imagine also having 25 drones and 100 or more people. Excel and email can get you only part of the way. You need something more robust and more of a system-oriented approach. The third challenge is that we live in a world fueled by data. The moment you introduce any new operation, you're going to be required to report on it. So this also needs to be, you need to have a centralized digital information system that can keep track of all the flight data and activities. And the last challenge, which is by no means the last challenge, but it ranks 4th from when drone leaders or drone program leaders try to set up their organization, is that companies and corporations protect themselves against risk by adopting internal corporate policies and procedures, which sometimes are more restrictive than the federal and government policies. So if any of you has worked with utility companies, you know what I mean. So the drone program leaders want to comply with these internal policies also, right? Which might be different for different agencies and different companies and across different industries. So these challenges, if they're not addressed, they will lead to more risk exposure and reduced cost effectiveness. So we built the drone flight management system to address these needs by providing a system that is always up to date with current regulations, compliant with corporate safety policies and procedures, has an automated workflow capability rich with data analytics and AI for drone ops, and helps you to remain compliant with your organizational safety policies and procedures. The Mobius Logic Drone Flight Management System focuses on 3 core competencies. The first competency is in the airspace access and flight planning. This is the set of features of our software to help you schedule flights, schedule usage of drones and pilots in a safe and regulated fashion. The second competency is around efficient, low-risk flights. So this part ensures that all regulations are followed by every approved flight request, and that all safety and security policies are in effect before flying, during flying, and post-flight. So we also enable each agency or company to customize their own policies and procedures into our app and rely on national services like air maps to update the federal and local government regulations. And the third competency is that it's a complete system of record. It ensures that all your drone ops are tracked and auditable if an audit happens and in case of accidents and injuries. So it also allows you to remain compliant with FAA regulations that require you to keep logs of your flights and report incidents. So as I mentioned, the drone flight management system is all built on the Azure platform. So if you'll be enterprise level scale ready day one. You pay only for the size of the ops that you currently need, and you scale up and down the infrastructure as your drone ops scale up or down. We leverage all the end-to-end security capabilities in Azure, starting from things like identity management using Azure AD, role-based access control, Azure SSL certificates, data encryption at rest, and during transit, we're also FedRAMP ready. So basically all the capabilities that TJ presented earlier today regarding zero trust, they carry over because we're on the Azure platform. And lastly, the app is already capable of addressing your business continuity and disaster recovery needs without you having to spend any additional infrastructure cost or replicate or shadow your app resources. This slide shows you the various Azure resources that make up the app. You will notice that we use platform as a service resources and not infrastructure as service resources in Azure, which ensure lower cost of Azure consumption overall. The next few slides I'm going to show, they show the major, some screenshots of the major functionality of the app, because I don't have enough time to show a full demo. So I'll show you some of the major functionality through screenshots, and then I'll shift over to the real life demo. So this screenshot is the flight request form in which a business user or a pilot can initiate the request for a new mission. I want to draw the attention here to the integrated map feature that shows you all the notice to airmen and temporary flight restrictions, NOTAMs and TFRs, that these are how they're the acronyms. It shows you the NOTAMs and the TFRs in real time when you schedule your flight. The same map is available to you when you fly, so you're aware of the airspace regulations in real time. For those of you who just heard these are terms used by pilots for manned and unmanned aircraft to communicate the status of the airspace they're flying into. So several agencies put out NOTAMs and TFRs to block certain airspace for certain time durations. These agencies could be the FAA, the DoD, or the air traffic controllers. This map consolidates all of those into a single view for the pilot and the person approving the flight to ensure the flight area is clear during the mission. This screen and the one following it show you the ability to track and audit trace all the data that comes out of the flights. It allows you to create reports by mission type, by pilot or pilot department, by drone size or type, and anything you want to report on regarding your flight missions. And this screen lists all the drones in your organization authorized for flight and the mission capability of each drone. Some drones might be equipped with LiDAR, others with infrared sensors, others with pesticide sprayers. So selecting the right drone for the light mission becomes a matter of just searching this list and the inventory. You don't have to hunt through several Excel spreadsheets to find what type of drones you own as an organization. So this slide and the one following it, they show the integration capabilities of this app, of the flight management system, with your infrastructure or with your enterprise IT systems. For example, Active Directory integration for single sign-on capabilities, integration with other ERP modules that you might have, especially when you want to keep track of flight hours. If the pilots are vendors, they're not your own employees or your own personnel flying the drones. So it streamlines the billing process and the payment process for vendors. Now I'm going to jump into the demo screens so that you could basically take a look at what the capabilities are. I'm going to be signed in to this flight management system here. So this is a flight management system that we've implemented for UC Berkeley. They have about 100 acres of airspace that they fly research drones over. They call the drones here UAS, Unmanned Airspace System, aircraft system. So basically, you'll see a list of all the drones that I have access to. So I'm allowed to fly those 2 drones as part of my department. The drones are categorized by size, below 55 pounds and over 55 pounds, and they have a third category as well. Depending on the category of the size, different policies and procedures kick in and when I submit a flight request, and different people need to approve my flight mission before it can actually happen. This list is also dynamically updated based on the maintenance of the drone. So if the battery needs to be recycled, or so the drone will not be available for my flight mission until the maintenance is completed. So this has a whole backend system integrated with the inventory management system. My flight request screen here shows the flights that I have submitted for review, my approved flights, and any rejected flights that I might have with the reasons for rejection. So let's start creating a new flight request. Sorry about this, keeps showing up. So you'll see from the flight request, you'll see the blocked calendar times where I cannot fly because of other people flying in that space. But let's pick something for next Monday. And you'll notice that when I open the flight request, it's going to go in and zoom in onto my location. Just happens to be that I'm in Washington right now, not where UC Berkeley is. And you'll notice directly on the map that all the flight restrictions around where I am are visible on the map. And because I'm in the DC area, there's this TFR here that's no longer temporary, but kind of permanent, that blocks all the airspace around Washington, DC. So I cannot fly any commercial drone in this space without proper permissions. And you'll also notice the overlaying of restrictions here. Those smaller circles here within that bigger circle are local jurisdiction or county level regulations that prevent flight. This could be a public school or a hospital or a public playground where the county or the city has prevented commercial drone flights over those areas. So if I want to fly, I'll have to go all the way to Fairfax, I think. Yep. And then I've selected this park over here, or this area, which again, my administration or my drone program leader has kind of designated the areas where I could fly. So this is one of those areas that I could select for my flight. If I have permissions, I could draw my own areas and submit that for approval. But in this case, I'm going to be just selecting what's been given to me. And then I'm going to fill the rest of the form. The form is customizable based on the policies and procedures of this organization or this agency here. They require a visual observer to be present every time I'm flying, so I need to fill out the name of the visual observer. This could be selected from a list or just coded in this way. My drones are available to me here, and then I can select the time of that I want to fly, and then I submit and send this out. So this now shows as pending. You'll probably hear my phone come up with a text message because I'm an admin on this, so I'll receive a text message that the flight has been submitted, and then I'm going to log in as an admin and try to see what flights are there. So as an admin, I have access to all the drones in the organization, all the owners of the drones, and I can check them out, check them in here, put them into maintenance mode, and I can see all the flight requests that came in. This is the flight request that I just submitted, or I think, yep. And then I can approve this, and when it's approved, or I can reject it, and then now the user could fly, or the pilot could fly that mission at that time that's scheduled for flight. I'm going to continue the rest of the demo using some videos because it's not easy to demo drone stuff in a live stream situation. So So having seen the FMS core capabilities in scheduling flights, the next videos will show you use cases implemented using the flight management system. So the first use case is for hotspot detection and forest fires using drones. This use case was requested by the Department of Interior, and we built in collaboration with a US-based drone manufacturer based in Seattle called Robodop. So the flight management system that we have scheduled for drones to go out and inspect the fire, it monitors the so our FMS will monitor the flight of the drones, and it will report back the location of the hotspot so that the control center could dispatch the emergency response people to that hotspot. Notice the drone on the lower right side, the green one. It's following its path based on what the flight management system approved, and then detects the hotspot using its onboard sensors, infrared sensors in this case, and then reports it back to the control center. And the second demo is also for UC Berkeley. In this case, as I mentioned, they manage this 100 acres of airspace, and they only want authorized flights over that airspace. So if you have not been pre-approved for a flight, they don't want you to fly. So our FMS monitors all the flight requests and all the drones. And if you try to take up a drone without an approved mission, it will bring it down. So this is again here the flight management system sends a text message to the flight manager to approve or reject the flight. In this case, they're going to reject the flight the same way I kind of approved it previously. They're going to reject it, and then the pilot, regardless of that, they're going to take up with the drone. But then the flight manager receives another text message saying an unauthorized flight happened, and then they can bring it down the drone within the first few seconds of the flight. If the drone has been up in the air for more than a few seconds, there's a different process that goes down and notifies the pilot to stop the flight, as opposed to bringing out the flight from the system. So this is what I had for today. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions for me, let me know, or you can contact me for more information and for more elaborate demos. Thanks.
Thank you, Christian. That was great. Let's see, do we have, I'm not sure if we have any questions. I was just checking that out. But we can take questions at the end if people have questions that they haven't asked but they would like. For our next presentation, we have Toby Lee from Leidos, who's going to talk about Azure Chatbot.